Kody Brown and Robyn Brown have just gotten exactly what they wanted. An all-cash offer on their Flagstaff house, basically their ticket to the next home they've been fantasizing about. Every second of their reaction was filmed, but there's something everyone is forgetting. The raw, unbridled excitement on their faces wasn't about new beginnings or reinvention, it was about desperation. The type of desperation you can no longer hide. The truth is, Kody and Robyn are not climbing socially, they're plummeting. And that $2 million house they just bought might just be the burden that ends up sinking them for good. Let's step back for a second. Picture what happened. Their realtor, Justin Bates, comes in with news. There's an offer in all cash, the price is just a little less than they were quoting, but the payment is in cash. How do Kody and Robyn react? Their faces light up like it is Christmas time. Robyn is always smiling. Kody's face is all brightness. Did someone say cash? Real cash? The seriousness of the situation indicates that Robyn would sprawl on top of money with her dolls. That's the energy being emitted. Pure, unadulterated joy. No noble appreciation from people undergoing a difficult but necessary transition. No rich feelings of leaving behind a home that has history. Just raw happiness that someone, literally anyone, will give them real money. This is where it gets interesting. Throughout this same episode, Robyn talks about depression. She mentions sadness. She uses bad experiences as their reason for leaving. Kody expounds on having 3 dissolutions of marriage in that house, on hearing the news about Garrison in that house, on even getting sick there, which clearly counts as emotional harm today. They're building this story of 2 harmed people needing a new space in order to heal. But their faces, their facial expressions, tell something completely different. There is no sadness, there is no grieving, they're thrilled. That gap between what they're saying and what they're showing is where reality lives. The real deal is this. Kody and Robyn weren't just interested in moving. They had to move, and the emotional reasons they're giving viewers aren't the actual reasons. That cash offer wasn't a cherry on top. It was their salvation. You see, that ideal residence across town, the property they submitted an offer for, that particular offer was conditional upon selling their current dwelling, meaning the down payment was impossible without that sale. Allow that information to register. Kody Brown, the TLC-compensated individual, the one who had 4 spouses contributing to the family income, the one who had many properties all over Flagstaff, is not able to raise enough money for a down payment without selling his current property first. Suddenly, that euphoric reaction becomes that much more reasonable. We must take a look at the numbers because here the math is really staggering. Kody Brown's past scenario was enviable. 4 wives, many sources of revenue, a successful TV show repeatedly pumping money into family coffers, and enough financial security to buy a whole plot of land called Coyote Pass. Fast forward to the current time, and he's frantic. He's staging items ahead of even getting a buyer. He's making offers on homes he can't afford without selling his current assets for cash. And he's juggling all this as if everything is fine. Stability does not exist. This is a financial disaster, clothed in respectful presentation. Think of all that Kody has lost in just a few years. 3 wives left. Christine left first, and her departure was done in public. She took her whole share of everything, including her portion of Coyote Pass. Then Janelle left. Even though their breakup was more amicable on the surface, there were still financial transactions. There were still assets that needed to be split. Then Meri formally wrapped it up, another part of the assets gone. All marital breakups cost money, lawyer, fees, splitting assets, paying off debts, and all of this, while Kody and Robyn just keep trying to maintain their lifestyle. The big house, the high-end cars, the look of wealth. But here's the important part. At this very time of house hunting, Christine is now suing Kody. Court cases have a high price tag. Court representation is not free. And ongoing as that court case goes on, it's draining resources. Still, Kody and Robyn are looking at $2 million homes like their money has no bounds. They're talking luxury. They're measuring dimensions. They're weighing whether to keep the giant dining table that comes with the house. In the meanwhile, their financial underpinning is crumbling beneath their feet. And they're either totally oblivious or they're great showmen on reality TV. What really discloses the circumstance is that cash offer. The way their faces shifted upon the mention of the word cash, because cash means immediate liquidity. Cash dispenses with loan confirmation waits or banking processing time. Cash enables them to close quickly and get that money right away before something else comes along and complicates matters. And they needed that quickness. They needed that assurance because without it, their desired real estate vanishes. Without it, they are stuck in the house with all those bad memories with no place else to go. Robyn standing there talking about holding on to belief in a higher power, about God's provision, about just getting ready and their stuff and hoping it all works itself out. And of course, belief is wonderful, spiritual dialogue is valid, but you know what belief doesn't do? It doesn't pay rent. And Robyn's spiritually driven economic model is about to be met with hard reality because the deity she's talking to also gave her an intellect. And those mental capabilities should be pointing out that buying a home 40% bigger than your last one when you can hardly make the down payment is not divine intervention. It's economic destruction. So let's trace the course of this money downfall because it didn't happen overnight. This has been brewing over years, and each individual decision Kody made brought him closer to this place. It starts with Kody Pass, that large holding, which was supposed to be the family's home for eternity, where they'd build their complex and live happily ever after in plural marriage harmony. But it never happened. Years went by, and that land just lay there racking up tax payments and generating a flat zero in revenue. That's money pouring out of the family budget year after year for a dream that had run out by the time construction even started. Then came the divorces later, and this is when the hemorrhaging really got serious. Christine was the first to go, and she didn't just take off without a thing. She took her share, her piece of Kody Pass, her half of whatever little they'd accumulated together. And Christine isn't living high off the hog today, is she? She's thriving in her quaint little house with David, living her best life while Kody's struggling to make ends meet. That says it all that needs to know about who was really getting finances in check in that household. Janelle left after Christine. And although she's always been more taciturn with finances, don't for a moment imagine that distance didn't cost Kody. Janelle is the practical one, the one who actually understands financial planning and saving and money management. Losing her wasn't just losing a wife. It was losing the only person in that home who had any sort of commercial savvy at all. And now Janelle's happy set, with her recreational vehicle lifestyle and her independence, and Kody's faking domesticity with Robyn in a house that they really can't afford. Meri's departure was the final decisive blow. And indeed, Meri and Kody's relationship had been over for years, but she was still technically a part of the financial setup. Still contributing, still around, now she's gone too, running her hotel business and living her own life. And Kody's left with one wife and one income stream from the show that's keeping this whole charade going. But there is more to it. Because during all this event, Christine's legal action is already ongoing. She's filing court cases against Kody, and that comes with big cost. Attorney fees are piling up. Legal expenses are mounting. And all the while, as that scenario continues, it's money Kody doesn't have taking from his accounts. However, here he stands committing to a $2 million loan as if he has unlimited means, as if he's not one canceled television show from complete financial ruin. Chronological order is damning. Kody Pass purchased but never built, 3 marriages dissolved, completed, or pending, an ongoing legal proceeding draining resources. And in the middle of all this chaos, Kody and Robyn conclude the current time is perfect for upgrading to a bigger, more expensive house. The numbers aren't adding up. The economics aren't being economized. And that desperate excitement when they got that cash proposal was the manifestation of two people who know they're drowning but can't admit it out loud. Now, let's talk about Robyn's approach to economic planning because it's really mind-boggling. Whereas the vast majority of people in a precarious financial situation would take precautions, prudence, perhaps even seeking advice from a financial advisor, Robyn's continuing to pack boxes and spiritual connection. Truly, she keeps faith that divine force will provide them with a home. A home large enough that Ariella will no longer have to live in substandard housing. A home large enough for games of hide and seek. And of course, there is nothing wrong with belief. But when your financial strategy involves pack first, pray later, close the deal, never, you're not being loyal, you're being irresponsible. The cameras caught them setting up their home before they even had a confirmed buyer. And before Justin Bates came in through that door with the cash offer, Robyn and Kody were already packing up their belongings in boxes, believing that it would just all work out for good. And when people online started questioning this strategy, the retort was basically to just have faith in divine power. But here's the truth. Divine help assists those who assist themselves. And assisting yourself means having a backup plan. It means comprehending that preparing your complete residence before you've confirmed both a purchaser for your existing property and capital for your new one isn't belief. It's foolishness. Consider the boldness of this methodology. They located their ideal residence across town. They submitted a proposal requiring them to sell their existing property. They lacked the initial payment without that transaction completing. And instead of waiting, instead of being strategic, instead of doing literally anything that would be responsible economic planning, they just started packing. Robyn's seated there, surrounded by boxes, talking about how she just knows it'll work out, how divine providence is going to come through for them, and really, it did. They got their cash offer. But what if they hadn't? What if that offer never came? What if the unique offers they received came with renovation or conditions or longer finalization times? Then there's the speed of all things. Justin Bates shows up, conveys the news of the cash offer, and within an instant, they're moving 5 minutes of broadcast time between possibility and reality. And that is not how real estate deals work for regular people. Regular people wait. They bargain. They consider their options. But Kody and Robyn couldn't wait. They needed that money. They needed it quickly, and they needed it before anything else could go wrong. That is not the behavior of people who are fiscally stable. That is the behavior of people who are one missed payment from disaster. And let's be honest about what that money offer is. It wasn't just money for down payment. It was proof. It was proof that someone somewhere thought their home was worth real money. No complications of financing, no valuation issues, no buyer's remorse, just straightforward money, and they could hardly contain themselves. Robyn couldn't stop grinning. Kody was practically glowing because that money offer wasn't answering to their spiritual pleas for a new beginning. It was answering their spiritual prayers that they would not be totally economically ruined by the end of the year. So they got their home, $2 million worth of fresh starts, a home that's 40% bigger than the one they just left. Kody keeps repeating the word opulent like he just learned it and can't wait to use it. Opulent cooking space, opulent living areas, opulent everything. And sure enough, the house is beautiful. It's spacious, it's stunning. But here's what no one is talking about. They can hardly fill it. That huge dining table Robyn hates and Kody loves. It's a constant reminder that they don't have enough people to fill it up. Their family dwindled, but their home grew. And that is not progress. That is overcompensation. Ariella is running around telling me about how their old place was really tiny, hardly any room for activities, and now they can finally play hide and seek. But let's talk about that old place for a little bit. It was 5,000 square feet. 5,000? That's not small by any standard. That's huge. That's more room than most families could ever dream of having. But clearly to Robyn and her clique, 5,000 footage had limiting, stifling, and insufficient housing. Thus, today they've upgraded to something even bigger. And the question becomes, why? Why do 6 people need a home that's 40% bigger than 5,000 square footage? The answer is appearance. It's always been about appearance with these two people. Kody needs to look successful. He needs to show his previous wives, his far-off children, the world looking on that he's doing well enough. Better than well enough, really. He's thriving. He's in a bigger house. He's calling it lavish. He's risen socially while Christine and Janelle and Meri are busy at their own pursuits. Ignore that Christine's perfectly happy in her comfortable house. Ignore that Janelle's happy with her simple lifestyle. Ignore that Meri running a successful business venture. Kody makes everyone sit back and notice that he succeeded. And if succeeding is about buying a house he can't afford and calling it luxurious 50 times an episode, then that's his plan. Robyn's entering the same competition, only with different rules. She's talking about building memories in this house, about having grandchildren over, about this being their home for life where they'll grow old together. She's building this picture of multi-generational legacy, of family gatherings around that big dining table, of holiday mornings and celebration activities, and all of the trappings of a close-knit home. But it's imagination, pure imagination, because the heirs are not coming. The far-off children are not coming, and that big empty table is going to stay empty, with the exception of the 6 people who actually do live there. The house is not about functionality or coziness. It's all about perception. It's all about having the means to post pictures on online sites that convey triumph. It's about giving interviews where they can mention their new home in passing and see how people react. It's about showing that leaving Kody was the wrong move, that staying with him is payback, that Robyn made the right choice by never wavering. But here's the harsh reality. All the luxury in existence cannot conceal the reality that they're existing beyond their capabilities in a residence that's excessively large for their diminishing household. This is where circumstances become genuinely frightening for Kody and Robyn. They're not simply economically extended. They're absolutely reliant on a singular revenue source that could vanish at any time. Sister Wives, the program that's been recording their existence for 20 seasons, the show that's making up for that $2 million home. The show that's keeping this entire operation going is working. And the ratings? They're dropping. Not apocalyptically, but enough that anyone with even an ounce of intelligence should be worried. Yet Kody's continuing to sign loan papers as if TLC is just going to keep paying him back forever. We should be honest about something. Reality shows don't last forever, and especially reality shows where the basic premise has completely collapsed. Sister Wives was supposed to be about plural marriage, about a guy navigating relationships with 4 women, about the trouble and joys of polygamy. But now, it's just Kody and Robyn in their big house pretending everything's fine, while the rest of the family lives apart and thrives without them. That is not the program people signed up for. And eventually, viewers are going to stop watching, but Kody can't see it. Or maybe he can see it and he's just in denial, because in this same episode, he confirms something really heartbreaking. He says his children coming represents a fantasy, not an objective, not an aspiration, a fantasy. He realizes they're not showing up. He gets that the home they're reserving for truly is never going to be used. He gets that Gwen's not going to show up for Friday dinner. He gets that his relationship with his kids has been broken for good. But he's talking about new beginnings and new starts. Like buying another house is going to somehow heal years of neglect and broken promises. And here's the disaster scenario no one is talking about. What happens when Sister Wives gets terminated? Because it will inevitably, all shows do. And when that happens, when that TLC money stops flowing, exactly how are Kody and Robyn planning on paying for that loan? Kody's not working in a traditional job. Robyn's stuck at home with her kids. Their sole income is the show that's filming their breakdown, the program that's observing their household collapse in actual time. The program that cannot feasibly continue, much extended on the remnants of what previously existed. Kody's trapped, and he knows it. He can't leave the program because he needs payment. But staying on the program equates to continuing to put on display every malfunction, every failure, every embarrassing moment for millions of television viewers. It equates to watching Christine thrive without him. It equates to seeing Janelle's independence. It equates to coping with Meri's indifference. And all of that is happening while he's locked into a loan repayment that needs his reality television payment in order to survive. The math is easy and harsh. No program means no income. No income means no loan payments. No loan payments means property repossession. And property repossession means losing everything. That fancy house vanished. That clean start was destroyed. That image of success was shattered. Kody and Robyn are one termination notice away from financial disaster, and they're smiling through it like everything is completely secure. It's not secure. It's a postponed explosion. Now, we need to talk about the trend, because this is not Kody's first experience at moving, and it definitely won't be his last. Janelle and Meri both recognized it on television. Kody doesn't stay still. He gets restless. Every 5 years or so, he has this urge, and suddenly, the current home is not good enough anymore. Suddenly, he needs something new, something better. Something in a different part of town. He's 57 years old and he's never stayed in one place for even 10 years. Not ever. That's not a person building a legacy. That's a continuous nomad who can't stay still. Mykelti talked about it on her Patreon. Her dad's always been like this. Forever moving. Forever chasing the next thing. Never being content where he is. And Janelle sums it up perfectly. Kody just does what he wants. He doesn't think about the repercussions. He doesn't consider how it affects everybody else. He just decides he's done with a place and moves. The belief that there are better options. And every single time he talks himself and everyone who is around him into thinking that this move is different. This time, it's permanent. In this case, it's the permanent home. But here's what's really mind-boggling. Robyn doesn't seem to know this about him. Or maybe she does get it and she's in denial because she's standing there talking about building experiences within this home, about having grandkids walk through the halls, about growing old in this $2 million home. She's planning decades down the road, like Kody's just going to change his entire personality simply because they bought a bigger house. She's been with this guy for 15, 16 years. She's moved with him countless times already, and yet she still thinks that this time will be different. Spoiler alert, it won't be. In 5 years, maybe less, Kody's going to start complaining about this house. The location's not right anymore. The travel time's too long. The vibe's wrong. Whatever excuse he needs to justify his discontent. And Robyn's going to be flabbergasted, really flabbergasted, that the man who's moved every 5 years for his entire adult life wants to move again. She'll talk about how she thought this was their forever home, how she made plans, how she decorated, and none of that will count because Kody doesn't practice permanence. Consider what that means for their economics. Right now, they're stretched thinly just between paying for this place. But in 5 years, when Kody inevitably wants to move again, where's the capital coming from? Homes that are 40% larger than $2 million homes don't come cheap, especially in Flagstaff, where land is expensive and in high demand. Are they going to upgrade to a $6 million home or $8 million home? And how exactly are they planning on funding that when the program's assumed to be cut off by subsequently? Robyn's placed in her new home dreaming of descendants over for holiday festivities. But the reality is a lot more dire. She won't have descendants in this home. Not because the kids won't have children, but because by the time those descendants are old enough to come visit, Kody and Robyn will already be getting ready boxes for home number whatever, chasing the next new beginning that never quite provides. We must talk about the kids who aren't showing up because that's the real tragedy lying underneath all this lavish nonsense. Kody standing in his new home talking about having room for his children. Robyn mentioning the guest room or Truly's room as if Truly's going to come with her overnight bag ready for quality time with dad. But it's all acting. It's all for the cameras. Because Kody himself admits that his kids visiting is a fantasy. Not even a goal he's striving for, just a fantasy. Something he knows in his awareness isn't going to happen. Truly does have a place to lay her head. Except Christine's right now taking Kody to court at this very moment. Do you really think she's sending her daughter to spend weekends at father's new place while they're battling it out in court? Christine's not dumb. She knows exactly what Kody and Robyn are doing. They're putting Truly's identity on an open space so that they can notify the legal authority, investigate, and make room for her. We're trying. But Truly's never putting her presence in that house. She's never lying in that bed furniture. She's never building experiences in that house. And deeply, Kody gets it. Then there's Gwen. She lives in Flagstaff, same town as Kody, same town as this totally new home. And when Garrison passed away, when the family was coping with an unexplainable tragedy, Gwen had to call and ask if she could come. Had to ask permission to come to her personal father's house in the middle of a crisis. Think about that for a second. Your brother just passed away and you need to call your dad and ask if it's okay to come. That's not a daughter who feels welcome. That's a daughter who knows she's not really a part of that family anymore. Do we think Gwen's visited the new house? Do we think she's got the full presentation, seen the lavish cooking space, sitting at that vast dining table? Not on your life. She's living her life in Flagstaff, quite possibly driving by that area, knowing her father's performing home with Robyn's kids while she's on the outside looking in. And Kody's talked himself into this being okay. This is normal. This is just how things are right now. But wait, there's more. Because at the end of the episode, when everyone is hugging in the new home, celebrating this new beginning, there is someone missing. Dayton, Robyn's oldest child. He is not there. He is not on camera. He has vanished. And no one brings it up. Janelle mentions her children who are not filming. Christine talks about her adult children, but Robyn and Kody talk silently about Dayton. It's like he doesn't even exist. That's significant. That's a fracture in the perfect household exterior that Kody's frantically attempting to preserve. Because if even the children in Robyn's house aren't complying, if even Dayton's refusal to play along, then subsequently, what does that say about Kody's leadership? What does that say regarding the home he says he's building? It says it's falling apart, even in his own protection, even with the children who are supposed to be loyal. The house may be lavish, but the family within it is broken past repair. Now, we should carry out a little comparison since the difference between Kody's economic situation and his previous wife's situation is really harsh. Christine's living her best life in her pretty house with David. That place is cozy. It's pretty. It's manageable. She's not stretching herself thin trying to keep some facade of prosperity. She's not wagering her whole future on a loan bill. She's just living nicely within her means. And you can see it in her face. She's happy. She's thriving. And she left at exactly the right time. Janelle's doing the same thing on her own terms. She's gotten her simple lifestyle, her recreational vehicle travels, her independence. She's not trying to impress anyone. She's not buying homes she can't afford. She's being smart with her money, living practically, and enjoying her freedom. And both of these women have something Kody and Robyn lack: economic stability. They're not waking up alert to darkness, asking themselves how they're going to make the next loan payment. They're not having to depend on a reality show continuing to broadcast. They're secure. Even Meri's managing well. She's managing her own lodging business. She's secured her own income streams. She's building her own life totally independent of Kody and his drama. She left that household with her dignity and her economics in check. None of these women are struggling. None of them are fighting for money proposals. None of them are buying homes 40% bigger than they need just to prove a point. While Kody and Robyn are exploited to the fullest. They're all in on a home they can hardly pay for, dependent on income from a show that's losing viewers and acting like everything is great. They're the ones who stuck together. They're the ones who kept the family unit together, at least in their minds. But they're the ones who are financially under. Everyone who left is getting along just fine. That must hurt. It must take Kody every single day because his story has always been that leaving him would be a mistake. That the women who did stay committed would be rewarded, that Robyn's commitment would reap rewards. But in reality, that is the exact opposite. The women who left gained freedom and financial insecurity. The woman who stayed garnered a $2 million weight wrapped around her life. And you can see it in the way that they speak about the other spouses' homes. Christine is mentioning that, of course, Kody and Robyn would want to move. Their home is unusual. But then afterwards, she goes on about how much she loves her own home. The subtext is clear. Her home may be smaller, but it's hers. She owns it. She's comfortable in it. She's not attempting to maintain pace with anyone. And Kody and Robyn are in this competitive journey with themselves, always moving forward, always moving elsewhere, always chasing something they can never quite achieve. The paradox is dire. Kody thought keeping Robyn was winning, thought continuing plural marriage, even if only with one wife, was still the winning leader. But financially, he lost spectacularly. And the women who left, they're the ones who really won. So, what happens next? Because this story doesn't have a content ending, and everyone but Kody and Robyn seems to get it. The cracks are already showing. The financial squeeze is mounting. The show's ratings are declining. The kids aren't coming. And that 5-year obligation is going to come back around no matter whether Robyn's ready or not. This isn't a new beginning, this is the beginning of the ending. And they're too busy smiling for the cameras to see what's coming. First, we must talk about the show. Sister Wives has potentially 2-3 seasons left if they're lucky. The core idea has dissolved. The family fractured. The drama is formulaic. Soon TLC is going to shut down shop. And when they do that, that steady pay vanishes. Kody will be situated in his lavish home with no income and a loan installment requiring a 6-figure settlement to maintain. What's the plan afterward? Sell the home, downsize, accept defeat, as all of those options require shame, and Kody would like to sink rather than admit he made a mistake. Later on, there's the inevitable follow-on. Move. Kody's never stayed anywhere long, and this house won't be any exception. Within a couple of years, he's going to start feeling restless. The area's going to feel like something's off. The house is going to be too small, though it's already 40% bigger than the last one. And he's going to start browsing property listings, dreaming about the next step. Aside from later on, the economic situation is going to be worse. The debt's going to run deeper. The options are going to be fewer. And Robyn's fantasy about growing old in this home is going to ruin completely. And what about the relationships? The children who aren't coming now aren't going to suddenly undergo a shift in outlook. Truly's not coming. Gwen's not coming. The other far-off children aren't in a place to carry out reconciliation. That huge dining table is going to be empty, except for the same 6 people who live there. And finally, even Robyn's going to have to face the fact that the family she's been fighting for, the family she gave everything to, doesn't actually exist anymore. It's just her, Kody, and their kids in a house that's too big and too expensive. The obstacles are constrictive, even though they're luxurious obstacles. The financial framework of vulnerabilities is fluctuating. The future is unfamiliar. And Kody and Robyn are doing what they've always done. Smiling, acting, faking, everything solid. But it isn't solid. It never has been solid. And that elated reaction when they got their cash offer, that wasn't joy. That was desperation. Momentary, fleeting desperation that they've received a little more time before everything comes crashing down. So here's the real question. When the program finishes, when the capital runs out, when the next move becomes impossible, what then? What happens to Kody and Robyn when fantasy finally meets reality? Because that day is coming. It's coming faster than they consider, and all the excess in the world won't keep them from it. What are you thinking? Is Kody and Robyn headed to economic disaster, or will they manage to pull off another remarkable event? Leave your thoughts below. For more updates on Sister Wives, subscribe to Soul SI Sister Wives. The next video is waiting, and you won't believe what's coming next.